My story. Cheated on my ex of 3 years over 80 times. My ex I was with for 3 years was the worst thing that ever happened to me. Throughout the relationship, every single aspect of myself, she took the opportunity to individually rip it apart, criticize. I was running a finance business on the side, $30,000 plus dollars. With her it fell to zero. I had coaching job, and then I was in college as a young adult. I was a successful athlete, and with her I became injured over and over again. Lost the ability to go to the gym, lost the ability to walk. I had lots of friends in the communities I was part of. With her I didn't see my family once in the entire 3 years. I lost all my friends, I lost all my communities. I basically vanished off of the face of the earth while I was with her. All the time spent with her and her family. I don't know why I stayed with her. I was young and naive. There was absolutely no emotional intimacy. She had multiple guy best friends that she would talk to, and she was emotionally intimate with them and would talk to them and not with me. We were together for 3 years. I don't think we ever truly communicated and talked intimately. Truth is, she just didn't want to be intimate that way with me. The sex life was atrocious. She had a sex condition, vaginismus, which meant pain on penetration. Every time we had sex at the start of the relationship, then we would have a 1+ hour conversation about how horrible it was for her. For me, sex is a bonding and loving and intimate experience. She made me feel like every time we had sex I was hurting her, and this took years to heal from. We slept apart in separate beds. Her parents slept apart. I am very loving, affectionate. I love to cuddle. She didn't really like cuddling and didn't like sleeping together or even in the same bed. At the start of the relationship, we would sleep together in the same bed, not cuddling, not having sex. Neither of us were happy. Eventually, I caved in, and we just started sleeping in separate beds. I was miserable and very unhappy going to sleep every single night. I started cheating on her 6 months into the 3-year relationship. I had never cheated on anyone before in my entire life. I had a side chick, a girl that I had had a really powerful connection with before meeting my ex. She had to move away right before, so we never had the chance to get together, but we stayed in touch over text and would sometimes call. We had gone out on 2 dates before she had to move away but had never had sex. I never wanted to cheat on her. I told the side chick girl to go away 100 times, but every time my ex would emotionally destroy me, I would go back to the side chick. I got the emotional intimacy and support from her that I needed. My ex and I both hid so much from each other. It was easy to have my side chick. Eventually, after a brutal injury where I was confined to my room in extreme pain, couldn't even move, my side chick came over because I had been wanting to end things with her, tell her to go away and leave me alone for good, so that I could be with my ex. The only reason we met at my house was because I was so severely injured I couldn't move, absolutely couldn't walk, couldn't roll over without excruciating pain. I was sitting on the couch in extreme pain when she arrived to talk. We ended up having sex for the first time, and I cheated for the first time ever. I think it happened because my side chick started having a massive emotional meltdown and a panic attack, and I don't know why I did what I did. I can tell you that for the first time ever in my entire life, I have always felt loyalty for every girlfriend I've ever been with. I never felt the same loyalty ever with my ex, probably because the relationship was absolutely horrible, and there was no healthy, intimate connection whatsoever. I absolutely hated myself for cheating on her and didn't know what to do. I told her I cheated on her a month and a half later. We stayed together for another 2.5 years. I continued cheating on her for the rest of the relationship, even though I really tried hard not to and didn't want to. I continued to use the side chick to satisfy my emotional and sexual needs. It was very common that I would call her just to talk about the horrible shit that had just happened with my ex, or I would text her because her parents were doctors to ask for help with my new injury. I was injured for 2.5 out of the 3 years of the relationship with different injuries, a lot of the time injuries overlapping. I was multiple times injured to use crutches because I had an upper and lower body injury at the same time. Multiple times I could only crawl. It took me a full year to recover physically from the injuries after breaking up with her. I'm still recovering psychologically and emotionally, and now it's been almost 2 years since our breakup. I'm still recovering physically as well. Before her, I had never really had many injuries, never a serious injury or anything close to that level. I'm lucky to be alive. I don't know what happened, how it happened, why I stayed, or how I could have been so stupid. I cheated on her to survive. I absolutely know that if I hadn't cheated on her or had the affairs that I would not have been able to cope, and I don't know what would have happened. She would scream and scream at me until she lost her voice in the relationship, so leaving gently would never have been an option. Once I got injured, I was kind of trapped. Before the first injury, I was honestly about to leave her both times. The first injury was 4 months, lasted 4+ months, and the second injury was 7 months in, and after the 7-month injury, I think the next time I was fully healthy was over 2 years into the relationship. I have absolutely no family, and I was horribly isolated from all my friends and community like I mentioned, and the injuries were the icing on the cake to keep me isolated. Even when we were breaking up and she was trying to kick me out of the place we lived at together, I was on crutches. Kinda makes moving out hard when you have no family and no money. I was a student and smart and capable and excellent at my studies, but I was struggling extremely academically because there were so many things I couldn't do because of injury. Just looking back at the relationship, I learned so much. It was a brutal lesson. Long story short, I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to have a second chance. I'm lucky I was able to walk away, and I'm able to have a life now. I'm lucky that I'm not in jail. I'm just fucking lucky to be alive. She was a predatory, spoiled, sociopathic, narcissist, super rich girl. Dad was multi-generational CEO. The only way she knew how to experience love was for other people to give to her. And she bled me dry. For those of you that know the book The Giving Tree, I was her giving tree. After the breakup, she reached out to me multiple times every few months, but I had no contact, blocked her on everything. I told her to stay away. As for my side chick who cheated with me, my affair partner, I was open and honest with her the entire relationship. I told her to move on. She knew I had my girlfriend. She knew I wasn't going to leave her. She understood and consented to the entire situation every step of the way. I never lied to or manipulated her or misrepresented truth. I encouraged her to move on and find someone. I was her first love. I liked her, but she wasn't the type of girl that I wanted a serious long-term relationship with. She was fine for a friend, and emotional, intimate, and sexual connection, but I wasn't going to date her. And when I broke up with my ex, she wanted us to get together, but I said no and got with someone new, and she cried and cried and cried, but I never misled her that we would get together. One of the biggest lessons I learned from all this is to be honest. If I had been open and honest with my ex about my needs in the relationship, honest about where my boundaries were, cheating never would have happened because we would have just been incompatible and broken up. I became a person I could not survive as in order to be with her, which brought about implosion of my entire life. I never wanted to be evil, lie, and do the horrible things that I did. It was all a slippery slope. The more bad things that I did, the easier it became to do them, and to do the next worst thing. Throughout cheating on my ex, she was the girl I loved. She was the only one I wanted to be with, but I couldn't be with her, and she wouldn't cuddle, kiss, make out, be emotionally intimate, or sleep with me, and it was absolutely horrible. And because I was horribly injured, and recovery was months away, I turned to cheating to cope and survive.